Visit concreteindustries.com.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Jake, you ever had one of those days where you're literally running, you get in and the music's playing and you got to stand like Vershawn to do the show? You ever had one of those days?
I think I have before. One time I couldn't find my my car in the parking garage. And it made me late for work. You can't be late for work in radio. It's kind of tough. They start the show without you.
I noticed that. That's all right, though. I made it in just in time. Sent you, we got 3 clips today. I got a ton of notes, a lot of stuff we're going to get through. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's an absolutely loaded show. The fastest hour in radio. We got some clips we're going to roll. I had I don't know how else to put it, like a rather high-ranking official when it comes to refs in the state of Nebraska actually reach out to me. I may or may not have vented recently on said subject. He's like, hey, Adam, I'd love to chat with you. We spoke for almost 40 minutes last night, and we had an interesting conversation. So I'm going to chat about that throughout the course of the next hour as well. Holgorsen, Butler, some players, they've got their press conferences as well going on today. Hopefully we get the notes for that before the end of the show. We'll react to them. If not, we can chat about it Thursday. Let's see. I got a couple other things here real quick. Give you a heads up what's coming. World Series. You watch baseball?
I tried to stay up last night.
So baseball is one of my favorite sports. It's a sport I actually thought I would go pro in. Long story short, epic World Series Game 3 last night. Now, when they went to extra innings, when 9 was over, Angie looked at me. She goes, we watching it? I was like, nope, turned it off. I'm like, at best, it's going to go one more inning, and it's 20 minutes. And I'm already exhausted. Woke up this morning. It was 18 freaking innings, tied an all-time record, almost 6 hours. Oh, I'm so glad I went to sleep. But I do know everything that happened, and we're going to chat about that a little bit to close out the show today as well. Some defensive linemen did not play as much, did not start the second half, did not play as much in the second half versus Northwestern. What does that mean? What does that mean? There's 3 new starters in the second half that started versus Northwestern. Some other guys who played, Jalen George, Gabe Moore, Petchsack, a lot of these guys. So what does that mean? We're going to chat about that. Is that good, bad, indifferent? It's not a great sign. But what does it mean for the future? For the game of Northwestern, it's not a great sign. We won the game. It's okay. What does it mean for the future? What could it possibly mean? Everything in between. All right. As a former Husker and NFL player, I'm a bit of a health nut. Hydration recovery start at home. That's why you should team up with Culligan of Lincoln. Soft water means better showers, cleaner dishes, and it protects your water heater and appliances. Their high-efficiency softener cuts salt and water usage. For drinking, add a Culligan reverse osmosis. It is like bottled quality water right at your tap, ladies and gentlemen. Great taste, and it's certified to reduce tough contaminants like lead and PFAs. Right now, get up to $300 off a whole home system or just $9.95 a month for your first 3 months. Schedule your free water test at CulliganHuskers.com. That's CulliganHuskers.com. Culligan of Lincoln, water you love, go Big Red. Now, a couple of things real quick. There were 60 recruits in Lincoln this past weekend. I'm standing right on the sideline, and I'm watching. I'm like, I think it was around the 20-yard line as they warmed up. Holgorsen's like bent down, like in a catcher's position. Obviously not catching, but kind of like doing his thing to get ready for the game. I'm watching his players are warming up on the field. Right in front of me walks this tall, skinny kid, and I'm not really paying attention. I'm like, holy crap, that's Trey Taylor. He's a lot. Like, he's still a junior. He's got 2 years of high school lifting ahead of him, so he can put some girth on. He's taller than I realized. Like, I know what he's listed at, but it's like, He's more physically impressive when you see him. And I hadn't met him in person. I had interviewed him. I chatted with him. But you see somebody in person, he's a little bit more impressive. And I could see where he's got a lot of room to develop physically in the future. Now, he's a dude that doesn't look to run first. But if you watch his tapes, I think he even put something out on X. Like, he can't run. It's not his first choice or even his second choice. But if he chooses to do it, he can do it. He's got the capability. I could also see him putting a little bit of girth on, a little bit of muscle on the next 2 years of high school and when he arrives on campus here in Lincoln in 2027. He was on campus as well. All right. And then there are black flags surrounding on the outside of Memorial Stadium right now. And if you got the pregame notes that they send out each week on Monday, they are now in black, not the typical red and white, scarlet, and cream. So they are going all in on this blackout thing. Jake, I know you don't care. But just indulge us for 15 seconds. What are your thoughts on the blackout game? We've chatted about uniforms in the past. The more and more we chat about it, the less and less interested I become. And the more and more I care about what happens on the – I mean, I always cared about what happens on the field. But it's like, all right, I don't care if you want to wear them if you don't play well. I don't care if they don't want to wear them if they play well. I don't care how do you play. But indulge us for about 15 seconds or however long you'd like, good sir. What are your thoughts on this? And then we can move forward and move on.
Well, I do at least like the fact that they're leaning into it. I they've tried these blackouts before. It's always kind of a lot of pepper, right, in the crowd. It doesn't necessarily work.
Pepper,
the student section will buy in, the rest of the crowd won't. So we'll see. They're really leaning into it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be an interesting night, and especially with the boneyard, as they call it, over there in the student section, coming off Halloween. I mean, it's really all kind of wrapping together. It makes a lot of sense. You're always going to have the outliers. You're going to have people that aren't going to like it, about argue tradition and all that. And so we'll still see some red and white out there. But this feels like at least a united front and their best foot forward for the blackout. Again, how much that matters to you, you can decide on your own. But I think it's going to be a cool visual, something different. And I'm a big Halloween fan, so I enjoy it.
I don't disagree with a lot of what you said. It times well because it's a nationally televised game. It's USC. It's two of the 8 biggest brands in all of college football. It's following Halloween. It's at night. It's the black shirts. It's a tradition that bleeds into wearing all black. It's something we don't do a lot. It's special. It's unique. It all makes sense. They kind of had an idea that this was going to be a night game when they decided to do this all the way back in the summer. So it all makes sense. It all feeds in. Beyond that, there are those who are like, no. We don't need to do this. I don't like this. That's fine. I tend to be more of a traditionalist myself. Coaching as many kids as I do now, I'm telling you right now, they get the most excited about alternate uniforms. They get the most excited about those things. And I'll tell you what my priority is. My priority is what's best for the program. And I'm not even just talking college kids. I'm talking high school kids. I'm talking 10U baseball. Had a parent meeting like a couple months ago. The kids were like asleep. The kids that were there were all dead asleep. It's like they were at school. They were just taking the most solid nap you've ever seen. Alternate uniforms get brought up and they all start paying attention. I swear to God, they started taking notes. They didn't. But it's almost like they cared about something and then they got really excited. So if that's what's going to get, I don't want to say people excited because you don't need that to get excited. But if that's what's best for the program and it's something unique, it's something different, there's a reason we don't have outdoor bathrooms anymore and we have indoor plumbing. Like, things change and evolve. Sometimes they fall by the wayside. Sometimes things don't go away. Then they become old school. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. It just means it stood the test of time. So old school isn't necessarily bad unless you're trying to drive a narrative. But thank God things evolve and change over time as well. When it's 0 degrees and snowing, I'm glad I can go to the bathroom inside. So my point, while it may not be a perfect metaphor, my point is if it's what's best for the program, it kind of all bleeds in well to the black shirts, the night game, Halloween, the day after, all that stuff. Cool. Let's buy into it because it's what's best for the program. If you're someone who, this might rub people the wrong way, but if you're someone who's going to prioritize tradition over what the program is currently doing, and what they're currently doing, I believe, is got to be the priority because that's what's best for the program currently going on now. It may not be the same as 10 years ago or 10 years from now, but it's what's going on right now, what we can control. If you're someone who prioritizes tradition over it, that's your choice. Personally, I choose something different. Now, if you said, do I like the alternate uniforms? Not so much. But it's about what the priority is. That makes sense, Jake?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I get it, and I get both sides of the argument. I just think we've come a long way. I actually called the first alternate uniform game they had for student student radio. Remember those big block ins and W's, Nebraska and Wisconsin?
Okay, those
this.
were ugly.
Those were pretty ugly.
Those were bad.
But
What year
back
was that?
then, there
What year
was
that?
that was 2012. That was
that.
but they had a lot of, so there's a lot of argument back then about the times have changed. College football certainly has changed.
Yep.
And so I think that the kind of stick to tradition aspect of it is probably, it just falls on deaf ears more now than it used to in the past.
It helps when the alternate uniforms are butt ugly. Those things were butt ugly. They were terrible.
It's tough to tell who was who sometimes.
Oh my gosh! All right, let's see what else we got real quick. Well, let's play those clips, because again, I spoke to a Nebraska official who's in charge of many things when it comes to Nebraska refereeing officials. And we also had talked how this equates to college football. We also equated how youth sports plays a huge role in this, because there's a lot of people who just don't want to get into officiating because of how they're treated by parents at the youth level. You can't just start at the college level. You got to work your way up. And if you don't want to get in and work your way up to begin with, then you have limited options. And it all kind of bleeds from there. We'll get into all of that. All right, but we got 3 clips. And if I remember correctly, they all kind of correlate to each other, do they not? You want to just roll them all in a row?
Yeah.
And if I want to stop, I'll just yell, scream. Sound good?
All right.
All right, here we go.
I'll start with the black jerseys when they talk about.
Okay.
This is the world of recruiting. Kids love this. When people come in, they ask if they can try this on. I mean, even in our official visit pictures, we've only ever let the committed guys wear the black jerseys, right? So it's like, hey, for you to say that, hey, I'm gonna be a black shirt someday, or I'm gonna be this, you've got to be committed to us.
Pause.
So I think
Did you know that only committed guys can wear the black jerseys on their official visits? I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
I actually like that. I'm starting to hate. I'm going to rephrase that. I am starting to actually like the alternate uniform thing just a smidge. See, it's not what you say, it's how you say it, Jake. All right, go ahead and proceed.
you've got to be committed to us. So I think, in the history of Nebraska football, when you look at a black jersey, a black shirt, I mean, who has more right to wear that than us?
I mean, that did occur to me as well. If you're Texas and you're going all black, I'd be like, what? That doesn't make any freaking sense at all. Okay, go wear the pants where we can see a little too much at certain times, especially in the trenches. Like, no. All right, it makes no sense. Like, for us, it makes a little bit to a lot of bit more sense. So at least there's something that kind of tracks, and it makes a little bit of sense there. So I get that. I do like, I mean, it's about what the kids want. And I call them kids, but it's high school kids, it's college kids. It's about recruiting. It's about, Lincoln is a great place. Nebraska is a phenomenal place. The outside perception doesn't always match up with what is actual reality. I mean, there's a saying, perception is reality. Reality is not reality. Perception is reality. So if the perception of Nebraska is one thing, that becomes the reality in people's minds. And how do you get them on campus? How do you get them here so you can see what the actual reality is? And if all red, until we beat Minnesota, surrender whites, whatever you want to call them, let's win a game. They'll call them the icy whites and all black uniforms. If that's something that appeals to them, I mean, my Lord. Oregon had yellow and green. They had puke colors, and look what they did with it. They turned it into gold. I don't know how. I still don't know how, but they did it. They turned something that honestly wasn't great, yellow and green. Do you remember the old angry Daffy Duck out of the OU side of the ugly yellow helmet?
Yeah, I love that actually.
What? No.
I like cartoonish, the cyclone, all that sort of stuff.
But the rest of the jersey as a whole, you like that?
It had its era. Sure.
It had its era. No, it didn't. That's why it's in the garbage now. They wore that in the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day versus Penn State in '95. They wore those things in public. I can't believe it. But look what they did with them. So you do what you need to do so people can come and see your strengths and what you are about. Otherwise, they just never show up and never get the opportunity to see it. If this makes a minute difference, if this gets another 1 or 2 good players in the door, sometimes the difference in a ball game is 1 or 2 good players. So because of that, I'm fine with it. What do you got next? What's the next step? I do like that they make them be committed to wear the black, though. I like that. I'm now a little bit more on board with it, or as I was going to say earlier, hate it a little bit less. But go ahead, Jake.
Here's Coach Rule talking about the home crowd.
Our crowd at home is a distinct advantage. It's a true, not to steal it from A&M, but it's truly a true 12th man. And, I'll be honest with you. Like, I'll be careful what I say here. I'm just going to go for it. I'm sitting at the couch after the game. My daughter's like, "Did you hear the chant?" My youngest one, the 10-year-old, she's like, "Did you hear the chant?" And they were saying, "Ref, I'm not saying that's okay." But it's like,
yes, he is.
Hey, let's get past. We're Nebraska nice. I get all that, but like, let's have a real game day environment. I was at unbelievable game day environment in a battle where we're like the games coming will start kind of slowly, like the leads evaporating, and our crowd last week just kept amping it up and amping it up and amping up. Like that was a difference. That was a different crowd than 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And so our crowd's awesome. And, it's a night game. I think it's going to be an electric atmosphere.
So here's what Rule is saying. We want to be people of high character. We want to be classy. But when it's time to get nitty gritty, like as a football player, I firmly believe you got to have a switch. Because if you're a nice person off the field, I like the word kind, not nice, because nice guys tend to finish last. Okay, there's an exception to every rule, so there's exceptions out there, but I like kind, generous, genuinely caring, loyal, honest, those good traits off the field. You can't be like that on the field. So I discovered, in fact, here's a story I don't know that I've told. Going into my senior year, I was always the quarterback in high school, always the quarterback. Sophomore, I was starting quarterback. I didn't play a snap of defense in a varsity game until I was a senior. My sophomore year, I was the starting varsity quarterback, and I was a safety. Does that make any sense? Well, he didn't want me getting touched in practice. My junior year, Coach Hull goes, "You're not even going to play defense." He's like, "So during the offensive priority of practice, you're quarterback. During the defensive priority of practice, you're scout team quarterback." So I didn't even play defense my junior year. My senior year, I go to him, "Coach, I don't even like quarterback. Like, I play baseball. If I want to throw something, I'm going to go play baseball. I'm playing football because I want to hit somebody." I would actually, like, the few times I got to run the ball because we were pass first offense, I'd actually like try to run at people because I wanted to hit somebody. If you don't believe me, I walked away from quarterback and college offers to go play defensive line at a place that said I wasn't good enough to play there and I should walk on to begin with. But that's a story for another day. That's just me. But my point is, going into my senior year when I said, "Coach Hull, I want to play defense," his first response to me was, "Adam, you're too nice to play defense." And I'll be honest, he wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong. In that moment, I didn't even get mad. I was like, he's right. And what I discovered is I could be what I wanted to be, hopefully, as a person. You continue to grow, develop, and improve as a person all the time. Loyal, honest, hardworking, trustworthy, etc. We all have our flaws, but you try to get better every day. But what I learned quickly, and it didn't take me long, because I wanted to hit. Bruises were a badge of honor. Not being able to walk right when I got up in the morning, I thought that was great. Because again, if I was going to throw something, I was going to go play baseball. I threw 95 as a pitcher. Why don't I just go do that? So I discovered when you step across the white line, this switch. And it was really weird because I would almost feel like, starting with my toes up to my head, like I could literally feel like I'm different now. And this might sound stupid and hokey, but if you've ever felt the switch, you know what I'm talking about. And then I would be that guy on the field. I had no idea what I was doing. By the way, I'd never played defensive line. So I didn't really know what I was doing. I was even a linebacker, I think, in middle school. So completely lost, but I was going to go hit somebody, and I progressively improved and got better. May have been why Nebraska said I wasn't good enough and I need to walk on. I got love for walk-ons, but that's what they told me, the defensive line coach. Like, you're not good enough to play here. And I got better. But the people who can't shut the switch off, they might be really good football players, but they tend to be the guys who get in trouble too. Because you got to be able to turn it on when you're on the field, because you can't be a nice guy on the field. You got to be able to shut it off when you're off the field. Otherwise, you end up in jail or something like that, something along those lines. What he's saying is we can be Nebraska Knights, but when that game's going on, he loved that chant. He wouldn't say it, but he loved that chant. You could tell he loved that chant. We don't have to chant per se exactly that. But he don't want Nebraska Knights. He wants that switch. He wants that switch from about 6:30 to 9:30 on Saturday night, 10:30. If it's an overtime game, however long it takes, he wants that switch from the fans. He talked about how at the Iowa game last year, they couldn't hear each other. They couldn't communicate in the fourth quarter. He wants that for USC. All right, what's the last clip we got here?
Every team every week is going to show up and play their tails off against you. And that's part of going from a team that hasn't won to a team that's starting to win. Like, you start realizing, like, wait a minute now. You guys remember my first year when you got the schedule and you guys were like, oh man, we got these guys at this time. Well, you want to start to become a team that people circle, right? So you're going to get everyone's best shot. With all that being said, I mean, we just try to look at the tape, and I think our guys had elite respect for Northwestern, and I know they have elite respect for USC. You know, you watch their run game, you watch their defense, you watch, the guys they have on defense. I mean, it's as talented a team as there is in the country. So we'll have to play with great effort and technique.
you want to be the team that people circle when they look at the schedule before the season. You want to be the team that the crowd gets a little bit more amped for. Nebraska used to be that team. At times, we're still viewed as that team because of our history. We want to be that team because of who we are currently, and we're working towards that. But that's also why upsets happen in college football. Because if you're a team that's got, like everyone circled you, you're going to get 100 to 110% from them. Because sometimes people do play over their heads, just not all the time. And you better show up at 100% every week. Because if a team circles you and you don't circle them, and you show up at 85 and they show up at 110, that 25% difference is more than enough for all these upsets to happen in college football. Because again, we're human beings. All right, Jake, you got anything real quick before we go to break? We'll actually be on schedule.
No, we can stay on schedule.
You want to stay on schedule? All right. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Chorizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Chorizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at chorizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com. Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Byrne as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If one of the things running through your mind as a business owner is the recurring worry of possible cyber attacks, you can let out a sigh of relief. Hamilton Business Technologies has you covered. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we offer real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and more to keep your data safe from harm. We care about the success of Nebraska businesses and communities like yours. Learn how we can help you at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
When your home fills up with family, Aloe Fiber makes sure that space is a happy place for everyone. Aloe Fiber experts install it all, and full service means step-by-step support, guiding you through everything so you can stay connected to what matters, and the family can always feel at home. Put the game on, and don't worry about your Wi-Fi calling a timeout. Better TV and internet service is one connection away. Call Aloe at 866-481-2556 or visit aloefiber.com.
The party is back on in Lincoln this fall, and there's no party like the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the whole Ticket crew for 2.5 hours of pregame coverage before every home and away game this football season as they get you ready for the game. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at our downtown studio at 11th and O, sponsored by Select Plumbing, Raising Cane's, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Currency, and the Kindler Hotel.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, scattered showers likely throughout the day. It'll be windy and cool with a high of just 49. Tonight, a chance of showers. It'll be windy, the low around 42. Tomorrow, a chance of showers in the morning. Otherwise, partly sunny and windy, the high of 52. I'm meteorologist Kyle Carriker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You want to know how I know I was a little bit behind today, Jake?
How's that?
My hat's still on the right way. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hour 2 of the Adam Carriker Show is sponsored by Suizo Construction, where safety isn't just a policy, it is a promise. Suizo is hiring skilled craftsmen, laborers, concrete workers, and steel erectors who value quality work and a team that has your back, both on and off the job site. Apply today at Suizo.com. 40 years strong in business. Suizo Construction. Again, that's Suizo.com. SCHWISOW.com. Also, shout out to Hamilton Telecommunications. They are bringing you the latest in quality technology and communication services since 1901. Learn more about their residential and business services at HamiltonTel.com. So, 3 new starters on the defensive line to start the second half at Northwestern. You saw guys like Gabe Moore, Jalen George, Pat Shock. There's a few others I can name. Those are just the top 3 off the top of my head. I don't even remember if those are the 3 that started the second half, but you know, guys like Waneri, Lenhart, Judy, they did not start. Essentially, Rule said performance of play wasn't consistent enough what they were looking for. I'm paraphrasing what he said. Did you notice this? And what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I didn't notice this. So this is kind of news to me. I'm interested in this topic. You know, obviously, you would hope that you can kind of develop that depth. There's certain guys among that group that have been really good all year and been disruptive. But that's kind of the the up and down nature of the sport. Sometimes a matchup across from you might get the better of you. So you make the adjustment. And I mean, I don't know what to say. I guess I'll put it this way: I don't know if it was a whole lot better in the second half. They gave up more points in the second half.
So I wouldn't overreact to this. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's a good thing. It's not a good thing. It's a good thing we won the game. You lose the game and you do that, then fans are like, oh, why weren't they out there? Okay. Either way, win or lose that game, we obviously won. But to me, it's not a good thing anytime you're not out there. It means they think they can do better with somebody else out there. Now, there can sometimes be more to it than that. Sometimes it's a message that's sent. When it's an entire group like that, if it was one person, to me, that would speak more to one individual's play. Now, if the whole group isn't playing up to snuff, I get it. And Northwestern was winning the battle at the line of scrimmage. There's been times this year when the other team has won the battle at the line of scrimmage. Both sides of the ball. By the way, how do you have the Big Ten's leading rusher and the 101st ranked rushing offense in the country? Did you know that?
Yeah.
Both those things are true. How? What?
A lot of sacks.
Yeah, that too. To me, it feels like a message when you do it to 3 guys like that, or multiple individuals, I should say. To me, it feels like a message. Now, it's not a big deal because we won. If we lost, that would be analyzed to the nth degree. Not just because we lost, but hey, why are they struggling so much, and et cetera, et cetera. Why wasn't this addressed before? Why is it, that's what you would hear. I do like the idea of changing it up. I do like the idea of, hey, we're not just going to do the same thing over and over if we're not getting the result we like. Literally, the definition of insanity, if you didn't know, is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. So if you're not getting the result you want, you got to change something. The other thing is, it feels like a message. Like, I think these guys are going to get another shot. A lot of these guys are black shirts, single-digit numbers. So these guys have done things to earn things, but just because you've earned something once doesn't mean you earn it in perpetuity. You got to continue to earn it, especially when it comes to a starting job, to playing time, to reps on the field versus somebody else who's constantly should be trying to take your spot. He's your brother, but you're also fighting for the same thing, which is a starting spot, playing time, contributing on the football field. So to me, it feels like a message I'm perfectly fine with. We need improved play in the trenches as an overall whole. Also, if they take it to heart, if they don't react, to use Matt Rule's words, with entitlement and hypersensitivity, he didn't say hypersensitivity, but with entitlement, I'm going to say sensitivity. I'm not saying they are. What I'm saying is if they don't react like that and they respond with, this is an opportunity to look in the mirror with some self-analyzation and say, I got to do better. What can I do to get better? They may be better players for it. And we may be better going forward as a line, as a defense, and as a result as a team for it. It's all in how they respond. To me, it's not a great thing. There's no way it can be a good thing when somebody else is out there when you're supposed to be out there. But that doesn't have to be the end of the story. It can just be the next chapter. There was a first 7.5 games of the year story. There was a 2.5 chapter of the book, Northwestern. Now we got 4 more chapters to write. And the next 4 chapters are going to have a huge impact on the story in the book as a whole. So what do those look like? And what do you learn from the chapter that just happened? Are you better for it? Because we can be better for it. And I'll be honest with you, if the other guys who play in the second half of Northwestern are now playing better, maybe they improved, maybe they've grown, maybe they're whatever. If they're playing better, it's what's best for the team. This isn't rec sports. We're trying to win football games. It is an opportunity to learn, to self-evaluate, grow. What can I do better, get better, and be better going forward? And let the best player win as far as whoever's going to play more. So I wouldn't call it a good thing. We won the game, so it doesn't need to be overblown. Also, it doesn't have to be a bad thing in perpetuity. It can be a good thing going forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. You got any other thoughts?
No, I mean, it's good. You're able to send a message again. I kind of think that the depth portion of that, I don't know if they always would have been comfortable enough to kind of send that message and send them the backup. So, to be in a position to do that, that's growth in of itself.
That's a fair point, depth. Like as a defensive line, you should be the position group on the team that rotates the most. Offensive linemen, they don't typically rotate unless you're battling out a starting spot or somebody gets hurt. They just don't move that much, with all due respect, okay? You look at the quarterback, doesn't tend to rotate a ton. Wide receivers a little bit. Depending on the running back situation, you may rotate more or less. Secondary, not so much. Linebackers, not so much. It's typically the D-line and then probably running back, depending on the running back situation. Ours, not so much. But if you got to get a 1-2 punch at running back or multiple guys who are neck and neck, they can be right there, number 2. Sometimes it's the wide receivers that substitute a bunch if they're running longer routes, especially if they're really like doing some of the longer routes or running at full speed every time, whether they're getting the ball or not. That can be tiring. But defensive line usually should rotate the most because it's the biggest bodies that are running the farthest. Now, I'm not sitting here and tell you we run like DBs and wide receivers, but they're not anywhere near as big as we are, and they're not taking on double teams. So there should be a comfortability and a confidence in the ability to rotate, have depth, and keep guys fresh. So much of the running back position is running with effort, which is why having one really good running back in the NFL has been devalued so much, because if you can have 2 guys giving 100% effort, a lot of GMs equivalent that to one really good running back, okay? And especially when that running back has to come out, and then typically your backup, if your starter's really good, isn't that good. So a lot of GMs in the NFL like a good 1-2 punch because they can constantly rotate, constantly go 100%. And then as a running back tandem, some GMs feel that that's better than having one really good running back, because even one running back is going to get banged up, dinged up, tired. Now, I know that's our situation here. Hey, Emmett's handling it great. I have not said this. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to move on. He wasn't even starting a good portion of last year, and there were games where he got 1 to 0 reps. All right, I said it, and I'm going to move on. He's doing awesome now, and I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him. And I'm glad he's making the contribution that he is. He's probably the best player on our team right now, in my humble opinion. Like, if you were to pick one guy who's the best player, I don't know how there's other guys you can point to. I'm going to pick Emmett Johnson. So I'm happy for him. I'm proud of him. When you look at the defensive line, it's another position where so much of it is effort. Very rarely do you just blow right by a 330-pound lineman. Like, there is technique, there's flying off the ball, there's that first step, there's You're battling double teams. Like, a lot of times the difference between a sack and not getting a sack is a half a second. A lot of times it's a guy pulling up a little bit versus not pulling up. It's a guy running to the ball versus not running to the ball. It's a guy who just took on 5 straight double teams, and now you've got to run 30 yards downfield, and all of a sudden you're there, and you get that fumble that popped out versus you weren't, versus now you got a quarterback who's running all over the place, and you don't feel like running 30 yards back and forth because you just took on 5 double teams, but you're willing to, or you're fresh enough because you can rotate, and that's the difference between a sack and a ball that's completed 40 yards downfield because he's been running back and forth, and the secondary can't cover forever. A fresh defensive line is huge. All right. You want to hear about my conversation with an individual who reached out to me?
Absolutely.
What if you said no?
Yeah,
No,
I'm not
that would've
interested.
yeah. All right, go to break. So, got a message from someone. Didn't know who he was. Sends me this message. My wife was like, why did you respond? You don't know who this is. Well, it seemed legit. And did a little bit of recon. Was legit. So I called him. He's been a ref, an official in the state of Nebraska for 22 years. High school, middle school, youth sports, all the above. His specialty is more high school football games. And he's like, Adam, I want to give you the perspective of the officials. So, of course, you know, the reffing across college football came up. Of course, the whole, which we haven't talked about much here, but the gambling, the mafia, the NBA, all that stuff. So one of my first questions to him was, how much do you think gambling affects officiating? He said, there's an impact. There's an impact. He said, I'll be honest with you. He goes, I've seen it in youth sports games. He says, I've seen it in high school. How big the impact is, nobody truly knows. What he's saying is it's not 0%. It does exist. Somewhere between 1 and 99%. In his experience, it exists. And it's undeniable. So then you start to, hey, what about the validity of games? What about the legitimacy of games? And then I went to the quality. Now, does he think it's like all the time? He didn't think so. Not in his experience. But we went to the quality of reffing. He said, Adam, you got to go all the way back to the beginning. You got to think about people who do or don't want to get into something and why they do or don't want to. He said, you don't just leapfrog into college football or the NFL or even high school. He said, you've got to start in youth sports. You've got to work your way. Now, some guys go up quickly. You know, there's guys who coach in high school for a couple, 3 years, and all of a sudden they're in the NFL. That's not everybody's track. A lot of people tend to go to high school coordinator, high school head coach, and a position coach in college. Some are a GA. Then you go to coordinator. And if you're lucky, you get a head. Like, this is like a 10 to 20 year track here. Not everybody zooms up. He goes, as an official, you got to start somewhere, though. He goes, a lot of these youth sports games, and he singled out baseball. That's what he singled out. Like, it's not just baseball. I would say youth football is crazy, too. A lot of sports are crazy, but those are the ones who stick out to me. Like, the officials just get berated. He goes, Adam, I've been followed to my car. I've been followed home. I've had death threats to my family. He goes, people get in, then they get out. He goes, people see it, and they don't want to get in to begin with. So your pool of options is limited to begin with. He said, and then you go up into high school. I said, what do you have to do to be qualified to be a high school official? He goes, you have to pass a test one time. I was like, that's it? He's like, they can't be picky. There's not a lot of options. I go, that's it. He goes, yeah, you pass a test one time. I was like, is there a course you take? No. Do they train you? No. They used to. They don't anymore. I'm like, so it's a one-time test? Yes. I go, there's no sense of accountability after that. He goes, we're evaluated every other year. Once. Every other year. I was like, It comes back to you can only be so picky. He's like, there are young kids who are put into situations they should not be in. He was aware of a situation one time. A teenager had never reffed a game, all of a sudden got put in charge of reffing a high school game. And the kid's like, I've never reffed a game before. The guy literally told him, don't blow your whistle. Just don't blow your whistle. Now, is this every game? Is this every ref? Is this all the time? No. But they aren't being trained as well. They can only hold them so accountable because if you get rid of them, there's only so many people there left to begin with, so many people in the pool to begin with. And like, what about college? He goes, those are the guys that bleed on up. And he goes, in college, the interesting thing is it's not what you know, it's who you know. Which honestly, that's a lot of life now. And I said, so it doesn't sound good. He goes, no, it's not. He goes, it's going to get worse before it gets better. I go, so what in the world makes you think it's going to get better? Because they're not full-time. They're being trained different things. And now I'm talking specifically college football, things that I know for a fact, personally know for a fact, that he didn't tell me. He goes, first of all, you're right. It's not their full-time job. They are trained to do different things. Different conferences teach them different things, and it's very confusing. There's not uniformity across the board. Now, there is more accountability in college football than there is what he described to me before. But I go, what makes you think it's going to get better then? He goes, it's going to get better after it gets worse, because it's going to get worse, and then it's going to hit a point where it's so bad they have to address it. He goes, but until we hit that point, it's going to get worse. Now, does that mean all officials are bad? Absolutely not. I think it's the position they're being put in. Are there bad officials? Yeah. There's any profession out there, there's going to be people who do a good job, don't do a good job, average, above average, subpar, really good. That's normal. It's the position that they're put in. They're not properly trained. They're not equivalently, at least in the high school and probably college as well, held accountable, not frequently. Pass a one-time test for high school, then you go up to college. You've got people who were too young, probably aren't ready, probably scared, intimidated. And then not everyone wants to keep doing it the way things go, but then fans get frustrated because you can see it. And in the Northwestern Nebraska game, I pointed out a couple calls that went against Nebraska. To be fair, and maybe I didn't clarify this enough, I wasn't just talking about Nebraska. I was in the middle of a game. I wanted us to win, so that was my focus. You look back on it, Northwestern had a touchdown in the second half that was called back. Seemed like the right call, but it cost them a touchdown. How about the deep ball at the end of the game? That was on us. They didn't call it. It was almost kind of like early in the play, the penalty happened, and he kind of let it go, and then it affected the rest of the play, and then it was almost too late. Like, oh, it's going to look bad if I throw it now. And I'll be honest, I listened to Rob Zadiska talk about this too on his Doc Talk podcast. They did a great job talking about this. We had some differing thoughts, but we had a lot of similar thoughts. When I said the refs suck on X, I really meant an entirety of the game. I'm just so focused on Nebraska during the game that I think I don't always explain that. Now, was the reffing the worst we've seen? No. I think what happens is it's like somebody punches you in the shoulder. And then it's not so bad the first time, but it's not great. Then they keep punching. After a while, it hurts. And then it gets to the point where you don't have to punch somebody hard. They just lightly tap you, and you're going to react at an extreme level because you've been so bruised up and worn down and pissed off by what's happening over time. I think that's kind of how fans are. Officiating isn't great, and it's not been great for a long time. And then you become so overreactive, and you still want to treat people with respect, but you become very reactive because you've just run out of patience with it. I don't even blame the officials. I blame the people in charge. I said it on another place, and I'll say it again. It's $1 billion industry. It's people making millions of dollars. They drive cars nicer than houses, have houses, or have suits that are more fancy than cars that are fancier than houses, and they're nickel and diming the college football fans who deserve better. The very people that help make them money, who make their product go, they're not doing right by them, and they're not doing them justice. And Husker football fans, college football fans, and fans of sports in general deserve better. That makes sense?
It does.
I know you want me to go to break and stay on time. Do you have anything, though? Because I'm not revisiting this when we come back.
That's okay.
Is there anything off the text line?
There's people talking about just what refs make and that sort of stuff. Of course, there's a long, I don't know if you've seen it there forever. I mean, I don't even know how many years it was where Nebraska didn't get a hold called, called for him. So,
roughly $1 billion.
Yeah, that's always going to be frustrating and
Yep.
brought up anytime this conversation comes up.
Again, I don't put the overarching fault on the refs. I put it on the situation. The situation is created by the people in charge. I put it at their feet. Don't make it get worse before it gets better. Please. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Imagine starting your day with a computer glitch that leaves you feeling stuck, frustrated, and unable to get your work done. You have 1,000,001 things to get done today, and waiting for the tech issue to solve itself isn't one of them. It's time to let Hamilton handle the tech so you don't have to. We help businesses across the state spend more time on what they do best and less time frustrated with office technology. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we're focused on providing custom solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Connect with us today at HamiltonIsBusiness.com.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com. Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Fern as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
When your home fills up with family, Allo Fiber makes sure that space is a happy place for everyone. Allo Fiber experts install it all. And full service means step-by-step support, guiding you through everything so you can stay connected to what matters. And the family can always feel at home. Put the game on, and don't worry about your Wi-Fi calling a timeout. Better TV and internet service is one connection away. Call Allo at 866-481-2556 or visit allofiber.com.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
If you are a business owner, I want you to think about the amount of time you've spent worrying about safety and security. Lincoln's own experts at Diode Technologies design custom solutions for security, communication, and so much more. From automated security to secure video conferencing, their team sits down with you to get to know you and what your business needs. Manage your operations and get notified when there is suspicious activity. Save time and cut back on stress. Diode Tech always keeps you in the know. Contact them today at 402-793-5124.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations. Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. All right, it's the noon hour, and you know what that means. It's lunchtime here on the Adam Carriker Show. Sponsored by our good friends at Mulberry Barbecue, now with 2 locations at 11th and Cornhusker and 61st and Apples Way, right off of Highway 2 by Lowe's. Both locations are open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Try their burn-in sandwich, a brisket burrito, barbecue nachos, full slab of res, plus get incredible sides and much, much more. Get fuel for lunch today or make dinner plans at Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker and at 11th and Cornhusker and at 61st and Apples Way, just off of Highway 2 by Lowe's. All right. So we got the presser. I don't think we're going to quite get to that today, so we can cover that on Thursday. But I wanted to get to this marathon of a World Series game. Trying to get back to where my notes are there for that. So did you say you watched this or not? What'd you say earlier?
I tuned in for a little bit of it, but I had to go to bed eventually.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of funny how that works. So Los Angeles Dodgers and the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays, man, they went back-to-back World Series. What was that, 92, 93, Joe Carter? I remember the first year they beat the Minnesota Twins. They had Kirby Puckett. It's like the first World Series I ever watched as a kid. I was like 7 in 92, 8, if I could do math. Math is math in there. And then in 93, I believe they beat the Braves, so they won back-to-back World Series. But they've been relatively quiet ever since. This was an 18-inning game. Final score of 6-5. Let me make sure I get... where'd it go? I apologize here. Why does it keep showing me the wrong team? I want to see L.A., not... Yeah, Freddie Freeman. There you go. He had a walk-off home run last year to win a World Series game versus the Yankees. And he hits the walk-off home run last night. Freeman does it again. His walk-off home run ends an epic 18-inning Game 3 World Series. All right, it was an affair that lasted 6 hours, 39 minutes. It tied another Game 3 at Dodger Stadium. The Dodgers 3-2 win over the Red Sox in 2018 for the longest by-innings game in the Fall Classic, a.k.a. World Series history. One person said, and I quote, "It's one of the greatest World Series games of all times," end quote. Actually, that was Dodgers manager Dave Roberts. Easy for him to say because they won, but it was. It was an epic game, epic contest. All right, let's see what else we got here. Who do you think is going to win this series, by the way? You got the Dodgers. They're like the giant here, or the heavy favorite, I should say. Who do you think is going to win this?
Yeah, I mean, and you don't want to say it all comes down to that game last night, but that's why this was important. It's tied up at 1, so the Dodgers do take the lead. They've got another game here tonight at 7, kind of a quick turnaround for them. I mean, I think the Dodgers are the favorite, have been the favorite. They've put up enough money to be and enough results to be put that way. I did want to share this. I don't know if you saw this. Shohei Ohtani, who's slated to start tonight, I don't know if that's still going to happen, but he was up to bat 9 times. He reached base 9 times.
Dude.
That is incredible. And now there are 4 intentional walks, 1 unintentional walk, but 4 for 4 at the plate. Other than that, that's, I mean, the stats you throw out with that guy are just ridiculous.
So to be clear, Jake said 9 at-bats, 5 walks, 4 intentional walks, and 4 hits. Dude, his on-base percentage just went through the freaking ceiling. That's crazy. So to add on to what you said, Ohtani became the first player in a postseason game and only the 4th player at any game to reach base 9 times. The 2nd player joining Frank Isbell of the 1906 White Sox, 1906. All right, to have 4 extra base hits in a world, 4 extra base hits. That's a key fact there too.
Yes, hits were 2 home runs and 2 doubles.
Dude, that's great. In a World Series game, and the first to be intentionally walked 4 times in a postseason game. Now, he said, and I quote, "What I accomplished today is in the context of the game." End quote. One of the things I love is he's so genuinely humble. Like, just genuinely humble. All right. when any of the best of 7 postseason series has been tied, which it was 1-1 going into last night's game, the team winning game 3 has gone on to win the series 70 out of 101 times. That's 69.3% of the time. So that favors the Dodgers, obviously. In series with the current format of 2-3-2, so 2 home games, 3 home games, 2 home games, format that have been tied at 1-1, winning game 3 at home that team has gone on to also win the series 29 of 48 times. That's 60.4% of the time. Toronto had 67 at-bats in this game to set a World Series record. And the Blue Jays also regrettably set a series record with 19 runners left on base as well. It was an amazing game. I've actually been glued to this World Series as much or more than any World Series in recent history. Just keep in mind, the Blue Jays were the number 1 seed in the AL. They had the best record of any team in the AL. So they're not some it's David and Goliath, but that's because the Dodgers are so good. It's not because they're David. They're really freaking good, too. And the Seattle Mariners took them to 7 games. I was rooting for Seattle, as I think I mentioned last week or the week before that. But the Jays, if they can win tonight, if they don't win tonight, man, it's rough sledding. If they win tonight, it turns into a best of 3, and anything can happen. And they'll have the home field advantage because they get game 6 and 7, if it goes to that, back up in Toronto. Question for you. In the Northern Hemisphere, we're the 4 most populated cities. Do you know?
Not necessarily.
So my kids were like, how many people live in Toronto? And I was like, at first I was like, I think it's the most populated city in North America. And then they Googled it. They're like, no, it's not. But name some of the others and we'll tell you how close you are. And I was like, all right, New York. And I was like, Mexico City has got a ton of people. I think LA's got to be up there. And that's where I ended it. So if I remember correctly, they told me Mexico City is actually number 1. Then it was New York. Then it was LA. Then it was Toronto was 4th. Chicago was 5th. Top 5 most populated cities in Northern America. Random, unnecessary, hopefully fun information here on the Adam Carriker Show. Go, Big Red Nose. Remember to throw them bones.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.